Disclaimer: this video is not an in-depth review of whatever show I am watching. If you're looking for an in-depth review, please go somewhere else. Thank you and enjoy the video. Wow. What an incredible show. From Wesley and Tyler Bate to Thea Hale's pep rally to the main event, Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker, this is my thoughts on NXT Gold Rush Night 1 from June 20th, 2023. Before I begin the review, I just want to mention that at 1 p.m. today, I will have another video out about my top 5 AEW wrestlers. So, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and follow my Instagram for more updates and more. And join the Discord server just to join it. It's kind of dead right now, but I'm hoping to get more people in it. And with all that being said, I got my notebook, as always. Let's kick it off with the first match, which is Wesley versus Tyler Bate for the North American Championship, with Mustafa Ali as the special guest referee. And this match had a surprisingly slow start given the two in the match. And that really shocked me. And I was kind of happy because it started off slow and then it got to the main part of the match, which was Ali's kind of dodgy officiating to start off with, when they did a roll-up spot where where Bate had his shoulders on the mat, fast count, kick out, and then flipped over, fast count, kick out. When the first one happened, I thought that he was cheating for someone else. But that's not the case. He was just apparently getting into the groove of officiating. Keep that in mind for later. And by later, I mean now, because a few minutes more into the match, they do another double pin spot, but instead it's a slow count, which was really funny, and Ali just had this Cheshire Cat grin on his face the whole time. It was fucking hilarious. And then before the commercial break, they really hit that gear that I'm used to with them. They go balls to the wall fast, and Ali was going to count them out, but he stopped mid-count, goes out of the ring, grabs Wesley and slaps him across the face saying, "You got to get back in that ring." And I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be the referee here. Why are you doing that? It confused me. Like, why? But there was a purpose. It was to not end the match on a wet fart, which nice. And he did the same thing to Tyler Bate to get him back on his feet, but that ended up blowing up in Tyler Bate's face because Wesley hit the cardiac kick on Tyler Bate to get the win. Ali kind of cheated Tyler Bate out of a win unintentionally. And yeah, that was a really good match with a really good story in it. Yeah, I like it. Next thing I want to talk about is Thea Hale's pep rally. Now, the whole Chase University gimmick, at first I didn't really like. I thought it was cringe, like a lot of people. But they grew on me. And that's just purity. That just shows you how good they are, that they're able to turn what should be a cringe gimmick that should never get over into one of the most over gimmicks in NXT. It was fucking awesome. And this is proof of that, as Thea Hale a couple of weeks ago won a battle royal to challenge Tiffany Stratton for the women's championship. And leading up to this pep rally, she's been training with Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak, who are, as y'all probably know, hard-nosed wrestlers with no personality is essentially their thing. And Duke Hudson, who is the MVP of Chase University, he has a bit of a problem with these guys because they're a bit hard on Thea. And Thea is trying to tell Duke, I got this. And then, sure enough, last week, she breaks out a Kimura lock, which shocked everybody, including me. And, yeah, that's what's leading to this pep rally where she basically says, I'm going to win the women's championship because I didn't have to go to college or anything. I just got out of high school, which that's kind of true. Whenever she went to WWE, she technically was still in high school. They just waited for her to graduate before bringing her up, which is insane to think about. That a fucking high schooler was training at the Performance Center. That is the damnedest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, she says, I didn't want to be anything else but a WWE superstar. And then out comes Tiffany to ruin the party. And she just basically tells Thea that she got lucky and she ain't got a snowball's chance in hell of winning at next week at Gold Rush Night 2. And everyone, Duke Hudson basically says that he says she's got more heart than Tiffany Stratton does in her whole body. So that means that she's going to win the title. And then this part I found pretty hilarious, and it was the end of the segment. Tiffany Stratton says, you ain't going to tap me out. You ain't going to beat me. And then immediately she locks into Kimura. And then within like 5-10 seconds, she taps out. It was fucking hilarious. Like you ain't gonna submit me. Gets in a submission, immediately taps out. Like that. I just thought that was pretty fucking hilarious. Next thing I want to talk about is something that I wasn't originally gonna talk about, but it's something that as I was watching the show, I found out something really interesting. Eddy Thorpe and I almost said Damon Kemp were they've been feuding for the past month and a half or so because in Damon's mind, Eddy was cheating to win, which that was not the case at all. He just took advantage of the ref not really being the brightest tool in the shed. And last week, Eddy told Damon, hey, you got a week to pick a match. And whatever match you pick, I'll beat you in it. And he's like, okay. Comes back tonight. He says, I'm going to bring Raw Underground to NXT. Now, what is Raw Underground? Or what was Raw Underground? In 2020, WWE were trying to make things make their circumstances a little bit better because, as y'all obviously know, this was during the pandemic and no fans were allowed in the arena. So they were trying all these different things to try to make the show more appealing, and the third hour being Raw Underground was one of those things. And I thought it had a bit of hope. But the problem with it was it just turned into Shane McMahon screaming on the microphone and very bad looking fake amateur wrestling. And that's what because it was in a dingy ass like warehouse somewhere in Florida, and I think it was the Performance Center. Now that I think about it, just a dingy looking Performance Center. It was just a ring, no ropes, no posts, nothing, and that's where Damon Kemp. This is where Damon Kemp's idea comes in, because in one of the matches where he thought Eddy cheated, Damon got his feet on the ropes and the ref didn't see it. But the ref didn't reverse the decision because the ref's decision is final. So Damon's plan is no ropes, no bullshittery, essentially. And later on in the night, Reggie, who was in the original Raw Underground, was talking to Eddie Thorpe, and he was saying, talking about how grueling it is and everything. And of all people, and this is something that I don't think anybody expected, Gable Steveson, after 2 years of being signed with WWE, the Olympic gold medalist, finally shows up. It took him fucking long enough. Like, this dude was drafted to Raw 2 years ago, didn't show up, and now he just randomly pops up in NXT to tell Eddie Thorpe, hey, I'll train you in this match. Which, again, given that he's an Olympic gold medalist, it makes sense that he would, that the mat wrestling thing would work for him. But why? Why here and why now? Like, that's just the dumbest thing to me. Anyway, next thing I want to talk about is, well, really, what I was going to talk about was Corbin, Baron Corbin, and Carmelo Hayes. But, and this is very familiar to my Raw review, I cannot stand Baron Corbin. He's fucking boring. And if you don't want to hear me rant about him, you can find the timestamp right here, like I did with the Cody one. It's, oh my god, it's just he's so fucking boring. Like, he's not a good heel. He looks like shit. He's literally only in WWE because he's big. He only got pushed because he's big. He's terrible on the mic, boring as hell in the ring, only has 3 impactful moves that people use as a defense for him, when in reality, 3 great moves does not make a great wrestler. And he's just fucking boring. And sending him over to NXT to try to get Carmelo Hayes over, which is just the dumbest idea because Carmelo Hayes is already over. Like, he's been ready for the main roster for 6 months. Like, it's fucking stupid. Anyway, my ranting aside, now it's time for the main event. Bron Breakker versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And you guys know, I've been looking forward to this match for a week. And it was exactly as I thought. Fucking amazing. This is probably Bron's best match in his entire career. And the thing is, it didn't look like Bron was being carried by Seth. Bron was holding his own, which is really cool to see. Couple of notes I have here. Close to the end of the match, Seth Rollins took the guard off the table, and for some reason there were 2 tubs of candy. I don't fucking know. I don't know why. And I don't know why, but that was the funniest thing to me. Like, why do you have candy at the fucking desk? But anyway, after that, he puts Bron on the table, hits an insane frog splash off the top rope onto Bron, onto the table, and that was what led to the commercial break. And after the commercial break, he goes for the same thing, this time in the ring, but gets none of it. He misses the frog splash, and Bron takes advantage, puts him in the Steiner recliner, but Seth makes it to the ropes. After Seth gets back up, Bron hits him with a spear. Or no, not the spear, his gorilla press into the slam. And I thought that was the finish. I thought that Bron had the win there. And no, Seth kicked out. Like, I thought Bron had it, which was insane. And then after that, Bron goes for hits a spear, covers, Seth kicks out. Then he goes for another one, but Seth kicks him in the head and hits him with the pedigree. And after that, he finishes the match with 2 stomps. And the fact that he needed 2 stomps to beat Bron Breakker is already, on screen at least, already a big thing for Bron Breakker. Because normally 1 stomp from Seth Rollins ends any other match. 1. But the fact that he needed 2 to beat Bron was just incredible. And yeah, the match was exactly as I thought it would be. Incredible, proving that Bron Breakker is ready for the main roster, and they just kept him down there to refine the heel character. And yeah, after the match, though, is when things get really interesting, because Finn Balor jumps Seth Rollins after the match and does pretty much exactly what he did on Monday, but the difference is Rollins had someone to come out there and save him, because earlier in the night, Rollins was getting friendly with Carmelo Hayes. And that helped him tonight, because Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams came out to save Seth Rollins from Finn Balor, which I thought was pretty cool. Seeing the 2 world champions, seeing Carmelo Hayes and Seth Rollins, the 2 full-time world champions in WWE, helping each other, I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, that's it for the show. This one I actually had, and I'm recording this right now, in this portion right here, 17 minutes of footage. Yeah, the video itself is going to be longer. It's going to be like 20 plus. Which, this is probably my longest review. I keep thinking review, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. My longest review ever, because Gold Rush was just that good. And yeah, it's pretty much it. As I said earlier in the video, be sure to like and subscribe so you can see when my top 5 AEW wrestlers video comes out, which is later today. Be sure to check the description down below for my Discord and Instagram. And yeah, it's going to be it. I'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank y'all once again for finishing the video. If you want to continue watching some more Southern Puma content, click anywhere on your screen. Have a great day.